The reunion between two things that are destined to be with one another that deserve to exist side by side is a beautiful moment that has the power to melt hearts. A fantastic example of this is when animals are set free back into the habitats where they belong, where they survive and thrive. In this video, we will be taking a look at a wide variety of clips showcasing the release of an even wider range of life back into the places that they rightfully call home. A huge green sea turtle that had become stranded on Nordhawk Beach was reported to the Two Oceans Aquarium in June of 2013. She had a respiratory infection and she was thin and completely worn out. The overharvesting of their eggs, adult turtle killing, being trapped in fishing gear, and loss of beach nesting grounds pose threats. Green turtles who are listed as endangered. Since June is thought to be a mature female, it was crucial that she receive treatment and be released. The green turtle spent over a year in rehabilitation at the Two Oceans Aquarium and Ushaka SeaWorld before being released back into the ocean on May 15, 2014. A man by the name of Steve Long, after contemplating between actually saving these innocent tiny bird lives and not buying them, promoting a boycott on such businesses, finally decides on the former and buys over 100 birds. All of these cute, minuscule birds that are bought from the Jakarta animal market are freed and flown away from the box as soon as the top is unfolded. This truly restores our faith in humanity. The second half of June 2016 saw the return of this charming little penguin to the area. The baby penguin was treated at our wildlife hospital for its yearly molt before being released off Maroubra Beach. Now swimming freely in the wild, this eastern suburbs dweller, christened Snappy, is prepared to participate in the breeding season this year. In this brief video, a Bengal tigress is seen being returned to the wild in India's Kaziranga National Park. The tigress was seen in a village and captured to prevent conflict with people, where she spent a few days healing from her wounds at the IFAW-WTI Run Center for Wildlife Rehabilitation and Conservation, CWRC. Pigeon populations are out of control in Portugal. Additionally, according to the Wall Street Journal, Lisbon officials are making an effort to be as accommodating as they can about cutting back on their population. They essentially constructed a high-end motel for birds. The idea was to entice the pigeons to nest there so that the keepers could enter covertly and retrieve their eggs. In this clip, we can see nearly 1 million of these pigeons that are exploited in our cruel need to raise them are finally released back into the skies. Gorillas are highly captivated animals, often kept in zoos and wildlife sanctuaries just for entertainment. However, this video shows a group of gorillas who were kept in captivity and were finally released back into the wild. I mean, this video just shows how momentous an occasion this is for them, and you can see the excitement on their faces. Just look at how much they're hugging each other and how happy they are. Not only is it wonderful to see, but this is as powerful as you'll ever see that proves these animals should not be kept in captivity away from their natural surroundings. In the first few months of their lives, genet cats, which are native to the African savannas, heavily rely on their parents for food and instruction. In 2018, rangers in South Africa discovered 3 abandoned kittens in the Sabi Sands Reserve, close to the Kruger National Park. If they hadn't been taken into care, there's no chance they would have survived for very long. They were cared for by the Hood Spirit Endangered Species Center. During their early years, they were housed in a confined enclosure, but the facility aims to teach creatures like these the abilities they need to survive in the wild. Being outside of a cage for the first time in their lives must have been an incredible experience. This is also the first time they have actually been able to engage with one another without bars separating them, demonstrating how crucial it is for them to be able to socialize in groups. Because animal collectors around the world are willing to spend enormous sums of money on unique species, the international wildlife trade is actually threatening many endangered species. Additionally, the animals are frequently maintained in awful conditions in order to get them past officials before boarding airplanes or boats. A tip that smugglers were preparing to travel with a consignment of animals to sell was sent to authorities in the Indian city of Ghaziabad in 2019. However, not even they could have anticipated what they were going to discover, as they saw 5 owls staring back at them when they opened the tub in the truck's back. The birds are believed to have been taken before they emerged from their eggs, meaning that they were born in captivity and had never actually seen the outside. Shockingly, they were intended to be sacrificed as part of a religious ceremony that has occasionally taken place on special occasions rather than being kept as pets or put on a show. Fortunately, in this case, they were discovered and saved, and the forest department set about trying to locate them a place to live while they recovered from their ordeal. Eventually, they just decided to let the owls fully grow in a well-known zoo before fully sending them off into the wild. With more than 217 billion pounds of cow milk sold in the US each year, it is one of the most popular farm products. Interestingly, there is still a significant need for cow's milk, even though alternatives like almond milk are growing more popular. To meet this demand, there must be a large number of cows that can be milked frequently. The animals' quality of life varies depending on how intensely this is done. Some are allowed to roam the fields, which may produce better milk and be more compassionate to the animals, while others are kept in enclosed quarters with concrete floors, which enhances productivity but is obviously unethical. Cows reared in these circumstances are placed there while they are young and are never given the opportunity to leave the compound. This implies that if they are ever allowed outside, they will experience a completely different way of life, one that is much more appropriate for living things. This video demonstrates what occurred when a herd of milk cows was finally let out of the barn and they literally started jumping for joy. Since we frequently assume that they are grazers and don't move around much, their delight in this situation is all the more obvious. One of the most commonly utilized animals in lab experiments is the rabbit. Not because they resemble humans in any way, but rather because they are docile, inexpensive to feed, readily controlled, and reproduce rapidly. Thankfully, animal experimentation is becoming less and less prevalent, although at least 150,000 animals are still believed to be held for this reason in the US alone. The rabbits are kept in cages in sterile laboratories and are never given the opportunity to go outside or live anything resembling a normal life in order to ensure that studies can be conducted in controlled conditions. Here, a number of rabbits have been saved from a recently shut down facility and are sent right away to a neighboring field where they can start their new lives in freedom. Since they have never been outside of a cage before, just feeling the ground beneath their paws must have been an incredible sensation. Additionally, this is the first time they have actually been able to communicate with one another without bars separating them, demonstrating how crucial it is for them to be able to interact with one another. And with that, we have come to the end of today's video. Share this video and leave a comment down below about your experience in rescuing animals. We'll see you all on the next video. Until then, bye for now.